Hi everyone, my name is Pragna Nidumolu, and I am the founder of EcoTeens, an initiative that helps raise awareness of climate change and how teens can come together across the globe to do their part in making this world a greener place for their generation and future generations to live in. As a part of EcoTeens, we launched a podcast called The Green Stories to bring diverse perspectives on sustainability and what we all can do as global citizens to address climate change. Today we have a very special guest in this episode, Neel Shah. He is an energy industry leader deeply committed to sustainability and youth empowerment for the energy transition. With experience spanning energy efficiency products in India to global insights into the EU energy sector and Indian energy markets, his leadership combines sustainability strategies and business. He is a pioneer in digital product innovation for the circular economy, boasting a track record of ESG expertise, blockchain, and data sciences for business. His knowledge from attending the UN COP27 climate conference amplifies his commitment to driving sustainability. He's also a bridge builder, fostering alliances among businesses, governments, and civil society and youth NGOs. He educates students and corporations about climate change, emphasizing the importance of interpreting IPCC reports, and his focus is on creating an inclusive community that drives political impact. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Pragna, for this really warm introduction.
Thank you. So jumping into the questions. So starting off, can you please share a pivotal moment in your career that inspired your passion for sustainability and the energy transition?
Indeed. So I would say it goes really back to my initial days in my career where I was working as a chemical engineer. So I started my journey working in the oil and gas industry, which is known to be the most polluting industry currently. So the challenge that I was against was around how do we improve the energy efficiency for this industry, and by doing so, what is the motivation for a company, for various stakeholders? Why do we even need to care about environmental footprints? So that was the moment that I realized it is really crucial to look the perspective of future about the processes that we are using, how they're going to positively or negatively impact the environment, also the society. I would say that was the moment that I decided I want to do more in this area.
Wow. I think it's important for people to have those type of moments in their life because it really motivates you to do more. So I love that. So you attended the UN COP27 climate conference, and I'm sure it provided many valuable insights. So could you elaborate on any takeaways that have influenced your approach to driving a change?
Yeah, indeed. So I would say I had three major takeaways. I would share the first two, which has the biggest impact on my career, also on the way I perceive sustainability. So there is a big gap right now across the globe on the availability of the funds and innovative ideas. So there are youth who wants to work on very innovative ideas, and that can change and bring really good impact. But there is a lack of funding, and this spans back to the inability of having a proper resource or guidance or mentorship on how do we access these funds. So that's the biggest, I would say, the challenge we have in the industry, and that is something which can also help us in future if the right people with the right ideas have access to the funding so that they can make the changes on a bigger scale. That's the biggest takeaway from the COP27.
Wow, that's true. The money needs to be in the right hands so the right people can make the right change. Okay. So given your diverse experience in the EU energy sector and Indian energy markets, what lessons from each part do you believe are important for the sustainable energy future?
Mm. So the both companies or the both energy markets are quite diverse in terms of uh, so the way we perceive energy or the way we perceive how we move forward in a sustainable way is different from a customer expectation from EU compared to the Indian market. So the way companies bring innovation in India is more about having efficiency into the resources that they use, so that they have cutting edge energy efficiency. They have really new ideas that can be uh, good for the customers to utilize so that they can save some money.
Mhm.
So having resource efficiency is a key criteria. While in EU, when we talk about customer perception, it's more about what, even if we pay something extra, what we can do, which is not going to harm the environment. So comparing both market, I would say the European market can learn a lot from Indian market about how when they can innovate, what are the hurdles that we have in innovation. So in terms of innovation, Indian mindset is quite advanced, and that's what EU can learn for innovation. And what Indian society or the customer can learn is, even if we need to pay some extra money for some services, the later or the bigger goal is to help achieve the transition that we want. So during transition, there will be some obstacles. It's not going to be a smooth journey. That means we will pay more. I'm living right now in Germany, so we are
Mhm.
paying highest electricity price per kilowatt hour in the whole world. So that's the part price of energy transition that we all are paying right now. But if we see the future, it's going to be really useful because this money is going to help build more wind turbines, build more solar panels that we need for the transition.
So both energy markets can learn from each other
Yep.
and grow in their own ways. Interesting. Okay, so you've been instrumental in educating both students and corporations about climate change and its impacts. So, how do you approach this educating and education to ensure that it resonates and drives change?
So education is like the first stepping stone for every change that we see in the world. So empowerment is also the second biggest key. So when we educate individuals on the changes that are happening because of climate change, this is not going to help them understand the impacts, but also make a better decision. So when it comes to students, I am closely associated with a teen NGO, another based in Silicon Valley. They're innovating really new ideas. They're using blockchain. They're using AI to create some products which is going to be useful for customers for making decision in terms of how sustainable a product is. And on another sense, for a corporate world, it's more about how do we become resilient against the changes that are happening. So climate change is considered as the biggest risk or threat to the business. So the change management that is required in terms of mindset happens from education. So education is the key to start the dialogue, and from this discussion, we can create really innovative solutions that can help us drive forward.
I agree, it is the stepping stone to any change. And if we learn more about climate change in schools and in colleges, then I feel like it would really push for a lot more than it is right now. Could you share a specific project or initiative that you've been involved in that encompasses your vision for a sustainable future? And what challenges did you face?
Mm, In particular, like I was part of a non-profit organization where we had this project, so I will share more about that project. It was more about connecting the business world with the non-profit and having students or young mindsets in the focus. So we, as a, I was, I think I was doing my masters during that time, and I saw there is a big gap between. So there is an industry need where they need experts who know the business, and on the other side there are some experts, there are some researchers who are doing really cool innovation, but they don't find the right market or the right audience so that they can pitch their idea. So we created a project which is called like a consortium where we invited a researcher like a policymaker from EU. They did a policy on green hydrogen. Founder from a startup, they are using really innovative technology to produce green hydrogen. And then there was a student who was doing a PhD on green hydrogen. So we have a perspective on same technology from three different eyes, one from the government aspect, one from the business aspect, and one from more of a technological aspect. So these three combinations and this dialogue gives a lot of input to everyone who is part of the discussion, because as a business you always think we don't have the right technology because it's not economically, and in terms of timeline also it's not viable because the way the business is evolving is very fast. And on the other side, as a government, you want to have a policy which creates stability in the market, which means whoever who wants to enter the market, there is a really not high barrier to enter. If you see the aviation industry is quite, you need a lot of money to become an airline operator than starting your own online shop for selling some clothes, for example. So having a right market where everyone has the right access plus access to technology and fund. So this was the project that brought three different perspectives, and the key outcome was again discussion, knowledge sharing. That there are some perspective from policies that were really useful to the business owner. They took out the idea and they innovated the way they were perceiving the market, and now they are really growing very fast. So this startup is based in Delhi, and similarly this PhD candidate who was doing research, they also brought forward the aspect of policy and the financial viability of the technology. So even though the idea that they were proposing was not that most innovative idea, but in terms of most practicality or most practicable idea, they propose this idea forward, and businesses can easily adopt this idea. So this is the project that we kicked off. The biggest hurdle was convincing the people from three different areas to come together, because for businesses it does not matter if they want to connect with a researcher, because a research is something which is not practically viable to do, implement in a business. So that was the biggest hurdle, but I would say that the teamwork that we had, all the youth perspective, plus the experience we had from the industry, it was really a fruitful experience to bring forward this perspective. And the first discussion that was more around knowledge sharing developed further, and we created like an internal group where we shared the recent developments that are happening and got many more partnerships. So creating partnerships was the key milestone for us from the project.
That must have been really interesting having three different perspectives and using a little bit from each three and combining it to make it like, that's amazing. In your opinion, how can young leaders and entrepreneurs contribute meaningfully to the global energy transition? And what advice do you have for those aspiring to make a difference in sustainability?
I would say the biggest advice is not to worry about pitching your ideas to everyone. Even if you feel that you're not mature enough, or you don't know the right words, or you don't have the right money to put forward your idea, just find the right audience, I would say, and always keep testing your ideas, keep pitching, so that you know where you need to improve. Because when you enter the market as a new founder, you will be faced with a lot of questions and a lot of doubts, because first of all you are new, you don't know how to do the business, how can we trust you. So this comes that is a factor that we all forget. So any idea, when you want that idea to be successful, you need to connect it with the humanity aspect. That means if this idea is really going to help ease someone's pain, there is a challenge that someone is facing, and even if you're not getting like monetary value out of it, but you are getting the social value out of this idea. So there are many apps, or there are many digital tools available in the market. They don't even break even, so they are not really the profit-making machines, but in terms of customer satisfaction, they have in terms of loyalty, those customers very loyal. So that means they can trust, and this trust can give you the biggest selling point when you want to sell your idea to some investors to get some funding so that you can grow your team. That you have a audience or you have a customer base who trusts your idea, and you're solving some challenges for them.
The humanitarian aspect is so important, right? Connecting with the people. Finally, looking ahead, what trends or developments in the energy industry are you most excited for or look forward to, particularly in terms of their potential to accelerate sustainability? And how do you envision your role in shaping these developments?
There are two particular developments that are happening in the industry. So there is one which is on the blockchain aspect, and another one is the generative AI. Everyone is nowadays using ChatGPT, which is quite phenomenal. But in terms of energy industry, the main barrier or the main challenge we have in terms of decision making is lack of data. So currently there are many cool ideas or innovation available in the market. Once a business wants to implement something, if they don't have a right foundation of data, the decision makers or the leaders of this business entities like big companies, they don't know even if it is worth it for them to invest in this idea. So there is a willingness to move forward, and I think the use of big data and digital tools like blockchain. So blockchain helps bring transparency and traceability into sustainability claims. So instead of just relying on a marketing campaign that we are green, you can simply scan the QR code, and that's the initiative from EU, the digital product passport. That means you have a passport of a product, and you can trace back to the origin of the raw materials, so that you can see if this sustainability claims these companies are making are really true. And that this confidence or this trust gives you a willingness to compare. So this gives you decision making power, that you have two products in front of you, one which is very transparent and you know the environmental footprint of the product, and on another hand, maybe it's the same price but you don't know the footprint. So you as a customer, you have a power to make a decision. That means you will go for a greener product, and this green consumption or the reduction of the consumption will lead to the change that we need. So I'm really looking forward to this two technology in terms of how do we consume the products, but also on a bigger level, for example, for grids. This technology can help us mitigate a lot of losses that are happening. So right now we are all generating solar, this rooftop solar, we are generating a lot of electricity. And the biggest challenge we have right now is how do we transmit this electricity from a smaller network so that everyone can use. So in future, maybe you can also use electricity for free because your neighbor has extra solar panel that they have produced. You don't have to pay to big companies. So this peer-to-peer community, that's enabling technology is the blockchain. So blockchain, big data, AI, combined with the traditional energy networks could bring a lot of benefits to us.
That's amazing. I didn't know about the like having that app to know like where the raw materials are from and understand if it's sustainable or not, because that is a big change for every single industry, and it's really important when making decisions to understand if something is sustainable or not. That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all your time, and I've learned so much.
I appreciate it as well, and I really look forward to any questions you have from your community or anyone who wants to know more about how these technologies can be useful in the future. Really happy to help bring the knowledge forward.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I wish you all the best for your initiative.
Thank you.